I am not going to tell you to quit or not quit your job. But what I am going to tell you is that your feelings are valid, and if you're having these feelings, you need to do something about it. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm sure you might have clicked for this video and this subject, but I hope you stick around. And if you are returning, I'm so sorry that I haven't posted in like a week, but it's probably because I was quitting my job. I want to preface or start this conversation by saying I quit my job, a full-time, great job. I don't have a plan. And I'm not really financially stable. And is that scary? Yes. But we're gonna talk about it. So I wasn't sure if I wanted to make this video, and I wasn't sure when the right time was to do it. So when I was making this decision, and when I had this decision made, I found myself watching so many of these videos on YouTube. I needed someone to relate to. And so I started searching up these videos, and then they came up with my trending, and now I watch every single one. So I'm gonna timestamp this video because it is a huge topic. I'm gonna talk about like a few different things in this video. Obviously, I'm gonna tell my story about quitting my job, my thoughts and feelings. I'm also gonna talk about the types of videos like these, just talk about why you're seeing so many of them, I guess. And then I'm gonna talk about what's next, or if you're in the same boat as me, maybe what you should be considering or thinking of. I do encourage you to watch the whole video because everything is gonna tie together. Before we actually get into my story, I wanna bring this up because it's really ironic that when I was watching all these videos about, you know, quitting my job and not dreaming of labor, those type of videos, the new trend in this trend is for people to pick apart why quitting your job is a trend. Especially in social media, a trend is something you see a lot of people doing. And sometimes the reason a lot of people are doing it is because other people are doing it. But I think it's important to realize that trends are trends because people relate to it, they like it, or they want it, for the most part. Even if you consider quitting your job a trend right now, ask yourself why that is. I think, personally, that a lot of people have had extra time to think. Being in lockdown, people have had time to reflect, to think about their values. They've also probably had time off work. They've probably seen the true colors of the company or business they've worked for because we've seen so much happen in the past couple of years, and businesses and companies have had the opportunity to choose business or their employees. And so that's been made very clear to some people. Some people have realized that you don't need to work in an office to get work done. People are learning all sorts of things. Some people are learning that they're overworked and underpaid. Like, it's not a trend per se that people are doing it just to say they did it. Now, I'm not saying that you should just quit your job, but you shouldn't have to just count that out because someone is saying that it's just a trend right now. I don't want anybody to end up in a bad situation where you're struggling for money or you leave a good job or something like that. But if you're putting all of your energy into a miserable job to the point that it's draining you, then you might as well be without that job and putting all your energy into your next opportunity. So now that we have that out of the way, I'm gonna talk about my story. Like I said earlier, I wasn't sure when or even if I wanted to post this video. I wanted to do it now of all times because I think it's healthy and in my best interest to do it while these feelings are fresh and while I'm feeling vulnerable. Because if I film this, I quit my job 3 months from now when I'm in a completely different place, I might forget exactly how I felt, or I might not be able to reflect clearly or even see my growth clearly because I didn't actually track it. That's why I really wanted to do this. I'm currently in Newfoundland right now, just on a little vacation, so I'm home seeing family and friends. I'm home for another week. I've been home for 2 weeks. So my last week of work, I worked from home, and now I have 1 week kind of to myself. And I think that is distracting me from the reality of the situation because I'm so busy. I'm surrounded by people that support me. I haven't really had that alone time to dive into this. Back in January, right before 2021, I was offered a 6-month contract with a great company doing great things. I thought it was going to be my forever career because I study environmental science in my master's degree, and it ties into that, so I thought that it was going to be my forever job. And that's one hard thing about finding what you're really supposed to be doing. Sometimes the thing that you think is going to be everything, you know, the career, you hype it up and you really think it's going to be the one, it may end up being that it's not the one. You may come to realize that it's not actually for you. And that's okay. It's just hard to admit sometimes, and I think that was really hard for me to admit myself because I was so excited for it. But I knew very soon that it wasn't exactly the path I wanted to take. But I was kind of managing it because it was a good job, it was a great company, we're doing great things, so I was happy. But that did start to dwindle. When you are working, especially a 9 to 5 or like shift work, anything that takes up a lot of time, you come to realize that it's taking away from other projects and opportunities. That's what I found really hard. I'm doing a master's degree, which requires a lot of my attention, and it was taking so much of my time that my master's degree was on the back burner. And then me knowing deep down that this job wasn't going to be my forever job, it was also taking away from other opportunities because I wasn't putting myself into, my creative projects. I wasn't putting myself out there for other jobs. I hadn't updated my resume because I was so confident that this was going to be it. So for me to admit to myself that it wasn't for me and that it was time to leave was really, really hard. Luckily for me, my contract was coming to an end, so it was an easier split than just having to drop a full-time promised job because it was just a 6-month contract, which I would have hoped to renew, but things changed. So I let my team, my bosses, I just let them know that, hey, I can't do this. And that wasn't just for my best interest because that company is doing great things. I know some people have made these videos and have had a really negative experience. I just didn't feel like I could commit to a company, and they needed, because of the pace of the industry, they needed someone who could commit fully, and it wasn't fair for them or for me to put my job on the back burner. So I had to make the call. But what was scary about making this call is I have no plan. I'm in a master's degree, which is so expensive, and I'm not financially stable. Now, I do have a little bit of money saved up, and I know that I will be okay for my bills, but when it comes to school and life, really not anywhere. My freelancing gigs have started to pick up. I'm just putting my energy into that. And I'm also looking for careers that can be work from home, content creation, social media, design, things like that, because I am really passionate for that. I'm passionate for the environment and environmental science, but I'm already ticking that off my list by doing my master's. So I think job-wise, I need to explore my creative paths, and that's what I'm gonna do. Like I said, I didn't make this decision as a split decision. I knew for a while that it wasn't gonna be my forever job, but I was just kept telling myself that I would keep working until I figured out what I actually wanted to do. But when I realized how much time and energy it was taking from me, I was exhausted. Balancing school and a job is hard enough, let alone if I wanna have a life or even explore other opportunities or my creative side. It just was not happening. I could not do it. I felt very ashamed, embarrassed, and guilty when I quit. I felt guilty because I didn't want anyone else to have extra work on their plate. I felt ashamed and embarrassed because I had to admit that 1, it wasn't for me, and 2, I can't do it. I can't pretend that I can keep doing it and keep up with school. I had to admit that to myself, and I had to take responsibility. It was very scary. I spent a week very stressed out. I still have my stress pimples. I don't really feel the best, but I do feel better, and I know I'm on the right path now. I watched so many videos. I looked for angel numbers. I did all of it. I started reading books. I wrote down pros and cons lists. I made all these different timeline plans that I'm gonna go over those in a separate video. But if you don't wanna wait for that video and you wanna know, you can let me know and we can talk about it. So I didn't quit with a plan, but I did quit with a goal. I knew where I was now and where I wanted to be, and I think I have enough faith in that I feel good about my decision. It's funny because I was gonna title this video, I just quit my job, feeling lost, because I am lost, I guess, but this is gonna sound very, I don't know, I should feel lost, but I kind of feel more found. And the reason I say that is because this is the first time I've quit jobs before, very different circumstances, but this is the first time that I feel like I've taken a leap of faith, and I feel like I'm going all in on myself and my goals and my dreams, and that is equally exciting as it is terrifying. The only thing stopping me right now from succeeding in what I want to succeed in is me. I no longer have a 9 to 5 that I can say is taking up all my time and energy. Terrifying, right? If you have more questions about that, we can talk more, but now I'm going to talk about if you are someone who was like me maybe a month ago and you were thinking about leaving your job and you're feeling scared. My advice to you is to do some reflection on yourself, figure out why you want to quit. All that energy you're wasting at that job, you could be putting into a new opportunity. There are so many opportunities. You can do these cheap courses now online. You don't have to go to a college. There are opportunities, you just need to look for them. So maybe start looking into that. Talk to people who have been in similar situations. I think you should evaluate where you work, what your contract is, you know, what kind of work you're doing, things like that. If you have an understanding employer, you can talk to them maybe about doing like a part-time or like lessening your hours. You have options. If you are thinking about it, then you not only need to have that thought, you need to put it into action, as in making a plan, making timelines, figuring out what you actually want to do. And listen, figuring out what you don't want to do is a really important step. So if we talk about where I go from here, I have big plans. So I started this Finding Yourself series because I'm kind of on a spiritual journey, just trying to learn more about myself. But I plan on completely reinventing myself between now and next year. So I have about 5 to 6 months. I mean, I've already started, but I plan on making big changes because now I have the time to do so. I have no excuse. I have to do it. I am gonna do check-ins. I might do a check-in every 2 months, or if something significant happens. And the reason I want to do that is because also when I watch these videos, I wanted to see more. I wanted to see how people were doing now because it is so scary. So I'm going to take you with me and I'm going to update you so you can have a little bit of comfort in knowing that you want to make this decision, or you can feel a little bit more willing to make this decision. And I'm not going to tell you to quit or not quit your job. But what I am going to tell you is that your feelings are valid. And if you're having these feelings, you need to do something about it. It might not be quit. It might be just make a game plan for a year from now, 5 years from now of where you want to be next. It may be picking up a hobby or a class that can get you somewhere further. It could be talking to your employer about lessening hours or changing your job within a company. I'm just here to show you that people are doing it for a reason. It's not just a trend. And you are not alone. And that's the beauty about social media. You can connect with people. I come from a very small province, and I already know that not a lot of people have supported my decision to do this because they think that I had it really well and things were gonna go really good, and they probably would have, but I would have continued to be unfulfilled and unhappy and burned out and stressed, and that's not what I want. I know what I want, and I know I want my master's and I want to be successful in it, so I need to make that my priority, and it is now. It's my priority. So when it comes to money, I'm trying not to take too much stress about it. In 2 months, I might tell you that I am broke and stressed. I have no idea. It's a little bit fun and a little bit scary, but I'm taking a chance on myself and I'm going all in. And because I'm doing that, and because I've put so much thought into it, because I've started doing like reflections and working on myself, because I've made commitments to myself, because I've stood up for myself, I finally feel like I'm on the right track, and I feel so confident in this decision. And I don't think it's false confidence. I think it's trusting myself and the opportunities that lie ahead for me. I think I covered everything I wanted to. If there's a topic within this that you want me to go into more detail on, please let me know. I will make more. This Finding Yourself series is going to be all about finding your purpose, finding your path, finding your routine, finding who you are, finding what makes you happy, everything, because I am so on that journey, I'm tired of holding myself back and making excuses. I finally have removed anything I could use as an excuse or a scapegoat. So if I'm not successful in what I want to do by the end of this year, it's my fault. That is kind of like a radical acceptance, radical responsibility mindset that is scary, but I think needs to be had if you're going to do something like this, because it's not good to make the commitment to quit if you're not going to make the commitment to open up new opportunities. If you just want to sit around and do nothing, no, don't quit. If you want to sit around and meditate and be financially free, yeah, those are two different mindsets, even though they sound similar. You have to have the mindset that you are going to commit to yourself if you are going to do this. I just wanted to get that out there. I feel so good that it's out there. You're going to hear me talk about it. This is no reflection on the company I work for or the work I did. It was all great. It just wasn't for me. And that's okay. It's okay to admit that. And I'm allowed to admit that. And I finally don't feel guilty about it. I'll see you in my next video. I'll give you a 2-month update unless something big happens before then. I just want to say thank you for watching my video. And always feel free to comment or head to my Instagram to message me. Or you can find my email in the description. I hope I offered you comfort or confidence or inspiration, motivation, anything. Okay, oh, my nails are done. I love having my nails done because it's so pretty. Thanks for watching. Bye.